You're lost.
Well, the thing is, right, I had my route on it.
So, let's get the compass out then.
Yeah, I can see those stones there.
Oh my god. That's so weird. How long have these stones been here?
You're gonna have to be weird because I can't remember exactly.
Mate, that's literally
And then
completely... Yeah.
too much yourself.
It's a complete
Arrow.
compass. This whole thing.
How weird is that?
Yeah.
Right.
Right, now I actually get on to a bit of golf stuff now. I had my first golf lesson with Tom Motley. He's going to be my new coach. He's been Steve Surrey's coach for years, and Steve's recommended Tom. And we had a first lesson, and tomorrow, when I go to Dainton to do some practice in the morning, I'm going to show some clips of the lesson, whilst also talking through in a bit more detail exactly what we're trying to do. It's nothing major. He actually really liked the way I swing it. There's just quite a lot that we needed to change in posture, just to get me in a better position so I can essentially get more connected. Because the idea really is to get my game in a place, to get my game into a place where I can compete and do well in the West Region next year. And it's sort of different to playing in South Africa or playing in America. Most of the courses that we play are, you know, between 6 and 6.5. They're tight. It requires a lot of precision. We're trying to get my game into a place where I can, you know, get some control of the golf ball. So, yeah, I'm going to talk about it in a bit more detail tomorrow, but I had a really good first lesson with Tom. Really nice guy. But I also had a really deep conversation with Steve Surrey after a few drinks when we were sat on the balcony last week in Spain, and we just come to the conclusion that the people that have actually like succeeded, it's more to do with their mindset and their mind frame more than anything else. Like when I was caddying for him and we played with a few people that are multiple winners on tour, some of these people, I can't remember the guy's name, but he had like a really strong grip and he just hit these 40-yard slices, hit it like 250, but he's a 3-time winner. And we just come to the conclusion that like actually succeeding, it's like it just requires like a different mindset and one that you have to adopt, which is quite ruthless. So next day at Dainton Park, now we're going to get into the lesson bit of the video. First lesson with Tom Motley up at the Kendleshire, and was really happy with the way it went, and I'm looking forward to continuing to work with him. So I'm going to start with showing you just a few clips from the lesson itself. All right, so just a few short little snippets, and then I'm going to try and piece it all together and show you exactly, you know, what we're working on and what we plan to do moving forward. Right, so here's some of the lesson.
Squat by 1 inch, and then tilt the pelvis like it's a bucket of water. Just tilt forward. So you've not got a strain in that lower back. So what you don't want to be doing is bending forward and then sticking your butt out, because that just puts that lower spine in too much tension. So relax that off a little bit. There you go. Yeah. And just relax those shoulders down. There you go. And keep tilting forward until you can reach that roof. Just for, excuse the language, shits and giggles, yep. Just make a 3/4 swing and hit it. That pelvis just a bit, there you go. So connect that takeaway. Excellent.
So as you can see, most of what we worked on was to do with posture and setup, essentially. So I was in sort of this position here. From this angle, ball position was way far forward, stance was open, and the biggest thing that was causing a lot of problem was my right elbow was very much over in terms of rotated over and also straightened out over, which got my shoulders open, ball position forward. And I think what this was an attempt of doing was trying to not hit that hook, trying to hit that cut when I was trying to hit a fade. But what that does, when I get my right arm over like this, it just disconnects the arms to the body straight away. So we basically went through the lesson trying to adopt my posture to get it into a position where I can move in a more connected, connected manner. Connection is something that I've always struggled with in the golf swing. I've always felt like my hips outrace. I know there's a kinetic chain and it should be like hips, shoulders, arms. There should be a kinetic chain of movement, but I always felt like I wasn't connected and everything was out of place, and there's quite a lot going on at the bottom of the swing. And this is also why I struggled, and why I've struggled so much when I get to sort of like that 20 to 70 yard range with a wedge, where you've got to just play like the body, you know, you just basically just got to swing the body, keep it rather passive. I always struggle with that, and I struggle with my low point and my strike because I don't have a connected swing. I've really got one speed, which is full speed, and if I try and take something off of it, I'm not connected enough to make that work. So posture-wise, we started off, he just said stand tall, flex the knees an inch, and then lean forward, not putting too much tension on the lower back, but just lean forward so the lower back's nice and relaxed. And then from there, instead of going this way, I've got to feel like my scapula is retracted to my shoulder blade to push back. And what that does is get you in this position, which not only sticks your chest out and allows you to use that a bit more, but it also gets my right arm lower and my arms really connected to my body. And from there, it's the first time I've actually felt pretty comfortable at setup. I always feel slightly uncomfortable and not connected to start with, but getting into this position just felt straight away, especially when I try and get that right arm a tiny bit lower, just felt straight away that I was really solidly connected. And then from there, all we did was try to just get the first move very connected so it doesn't get left shoulder low, the scapula being retracted, it almost like stays in that position and everything just moves at the same speed. And from there, I'm able to make, for the first time, we're able to make a connected move, which feels, to be honest, it feels pretty exciting because I've never actually had that feeling before. Maybe it's because of the long drive stuff that I did before, where it's all about just getting long and high and loose. But like this feeling, it just feels like you can stand there with an iron and almost just make like a 3/4 swing and just like drive it forward to target, almost like Fleetwood style, but without, you know, going into that sort of like feel. So that was the two things that we worked on, just nailing posture, nailing setup, and then just feeling that connection. And we also used those gravity fit bands. And what that does is it gives you a real sense of connection, essentially. Because when you get like this, you lose all the tension, you lose the feeling in your scapula because there's some bands that go across. So you just want to feel like that to start with, and then almost feel that into the backswing as well. So those are the two things we worked on in the golf swing. What I'm going to do is just work hard on this, make this become second nature, and then I'm going to go back and see him in a month's time. He's just having a studio built up there, so we'll get in the studio hopefully, and then also I'm going to talk about pitching, chipping, is all to come in this series as we unfold, you know, all of this stuff going into next year. So apologies, there's not been that much golf, and this has just been a bit of a chatty one where I'm walking through Dartmoor with Flower and a bit of golf swing explanation, but it's going to be a very interesting year next year. I'm really looking forward to just going full steam ahead and just giving it a go. So yeah, see what we can do. West Region Order of Merit, that is the plan for next year. Trying to get top 3 and get in the PJ playoffs, and then try and get a tour start.